Welcome back, guys, to another week of behind the scenes at Solent Turf, where we're trying to add on a landscaping merchants to a 50-year-old turf farm. We've got another busy week in store for you. I'm Jack, he's George, and this is Building a Family Business, Episode 6. Cue the music. In this week's video, George meets a man in a mask, my dad throws a blush, and I struggle to say explanation. Episode 6. Can't believe we're 6 episodes in already. The weeks are absolutely flying by. We had another productive weekend. We were in on Saturday. We got a couple of loads cut. The client asked if we could cut them 2 loads to go out Monday, which is today. We were forecast a lot of rain to come in, so they just wanted to get them cut ahead of that so they weren't too wet for their lads trying to lay it on site. My dad's down dropping the first load off now. Then we got another load just up there that we wrapped up. Got some solid pallets laid on top of it just to keep them as dry as possible for the guys, which I'm sure they'll be very appreciative of, because you can imagine how much water rolls of turf can soak up. They can literally double, if not treble, in weight sometimes. There is a few orders to get cut. We're just trying to push it all back to as late in the day as possible, just to give the field a couple of hours and a chance for the water to drain through before we start cutting again. So my mum's busy in the office just ringing around and seeing if people will wait till later in the day. It's so quiet out here. Usually the harvester's buzzing up and down and the forklifts running the turf out and the trucks backing in, getting loaded. But yeah, not much going on this morning with that load that we've already got cut. This weather that come in over the weekend and what's forecast in the next few weeks is definitely going to slow down demand. I think we'll start to see things sort of tailing off now for Christmas. We can't complain. We had a good run at it. We're nearly into December now. These videos obviously filmed a few weeks ahead of what you see them. So yeah, we're pretty much going into December, which we would expect to be quiet anyway. And then before we know it, the new year will be here. A couple more months and we'll be back into the spring and kicking back into the full swing of things again. That's what I tell myself to get through the winter anyway. We've also had one of the clients come back to us, which was booked in for a big order that was going out today, to say that they're going to postpone it until Wednesday, because they got another load going out Wednesday, so they're just going to batch the 2 together and take it in one go. So now that's made today even more quiet, so might have a chance to get on and fix all that equipment that's got broken over the last few months and just chucked to one side. George has just pulled into the field, so it's time for the Monday morning golf chat. Now you may remember that last week he said this: I want to film every Monday until that you personally hit level par or under.
Will that be next week?
Now I've had a little bit of a spoiler because he rang me last night and I've got a funny feeling he's going to want to talk about golf this morning.
Morning, brother.
Well, bruv,
All right.
good weekend.
Wonderful weekend.
Do you want to talk about golf or not
Absolutely.
this week? What'd you shoot? How many rounds did you play?
1.
Still only 1. God, you got to get better at negotiating. What'd you shoot?
68, 3 under.
Wow. A legit 3 under?
Yeah, look.
On your own?
On
This
my
is
own.
not threesomes, twosomes, foursomes, whatever. You shot 3 under on your own.
Hockley Golf Club, Long Course Stapleford, Division 1 results,
Send it
first
to me, I'll
place,
put it up so you can see.
George Stanford, 42 points.
We believe you. It's a 3 under.
Yeah.
Well, you've
Gross.
messed this whole feature up now then, haven't you? Because what we're going to do next week, this was supposed to take like 6 months.
Well,
Have to
I
keep
told you
filming
last
this.
week that I'll do it this
Alright.
week.
Have to keep going until you go 4 under.
Yeah, okay. All right.
No, I think we've set it at par. That ain't going to happen again for 24 months, is it?
Probably not, no.
So now you've shot 3 under, you've got the authority to give out the advice. So what's your golf tip of the week?
Make more birdies than you do bogeys.
That's great advice. I'm sure everyone would do that if they could. Is that it?
What's my golf tip this week? Play the hole from back to front.
When are you going to give some normal golf advice that anybody can understand? What does that even mean? Play the hole from back to front. What, you want them to tee off on the green back to the tee box?
Okay, did I do the tip about where to put your ball down on the tee box last week?
Yeah, add that one. You're meant to be full of golf knowledge.
Okay, for the average golfer,
Yeah.
take 1 extra club, because people confuse carry with total distance. So people go to the driving range and they hit a 7-iron and it might roll out to like 180 or something, but they might only hit it 150 in the air.
Right, so if you
And
need
then
a
on the golf
9,
course-
take an 8. If you think it's an 8, hit 7.
Especially this time of year, because
because
the ball don't roll. So they need to take more club.
Sweet. George's golf tip of the week. This is the wheel that I damaged last week off of our set of mowers. Just been over to the tyre fitter to pick it up. Just put an existing tyre that we had off of another old wheel onto it. He couldn't get it to seal and hold the air, so in the end he had to put a tube inside of it to make it work. But that's great to have that back. We'll try and get it back on this afternoon. Not that we can go and do any mowing anyway with all that rain we've just had over the weekend. This is a new vice that my dad just bought that's supposed to just be able to clamp it onto anything, and then you've got a vice out in the field for holding onto things. So I'm going to try and set it up now and see if it works. Whether this would be strong enough. Will it not go on that tailgate?
Hey?
Will it not go on the tailgate?
Well, strong, isn't it?
I think this is too much. Flexing it.
It's a bit small.
As long as you don't leverage this down and you go sideways, it should be fine. Oh, perfect.
It's in there.
We won't be able to do anything too big with it, but little job like that. We were just trying to undo a hydraulic fitting off of one of the mowers. It worked perfect.
A tenner, wasn't it?
Yeah. £10 well spent.
It's square. He said it thinks it'd be better, but I'm not sure. I think it needs to be round.
Yeah, trying to make a video here. This is turning into a Monday morning of maintenance. This is another little job that needed doing. The shoe, which looks like this, which is on the front of the turf harvester, which guides the sensor steering. It got stuck in the mud a couple of months back, which bent it, snapped the chain off of it. And it hadn't really been working that well. So we had another one made up, which I've got here. We're just swapping them over now to put this new one on. This one seems a lot more heavy duty than the one we're taking off. So hopefully it will still work all right and the weight to it won't make any difference.
Clean it up, wouldn't it?
We're just taking the brush off the front of our turf cutter. The metal guard that goes over the top of it is completely rusted out and sort of collapsing on top of the brush. So we're going to take it apart and get it welded up, which means one thing, handing it over to our tamed engineer. Well, some say that he has spanners for fingers, and others that when you ask ChatGPT a question, it's him that replies. All we know is, for legal reasons, it's absolutely nothing to do with the stick. So the Not the Stig's hillbilly cousin is refusing to put the drive belt back on that brush. Apparently it's way too worn to go back on. Totally goes against his religion. So I'm having to rush over to the depot to pick up a new belt, hoping I can make it before they shut. because the motorway is absolutely standstill. We've only got about 20 minutes left before they close, and we really need to get that brush back on. We need that harvester up and running for the morning, and we can't use it unless we can connect that brush back up. So I just about made it in time, but they didn't have one in stock anyway. They're going to order one which won't come in until the morning, so he's going to have to put that old belt back on for a moment anyway to get us going, which he's going to be really happy about. I'm in the office this morning with my mum. She's behind the camera working away. I won't spin it round because she will punch me. I decided to get out of the mud today. We had torrential rain last night. Everywhere is flooded down south, so I'm staying out of the rain and in the warm today. My dad and George are over the field taking care of some orders. They got some deliveries going out. Me and my mum are just trying to take advantage of some downtime to work on some back-end stuff. We're going to look to see if we can put out some Facebook campaigns for the landscaping yard. It's not something we've done before, even with the turf, and it's definitely something we need to be doing. So we're going to try and get clued up on that. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve, but I really think it will be beneficial to do. My plan is to just start small, getting some stuff put out there, and then if it's successful, we can just slowly ramp it up bit by bit. We thought about getting some help with it. We did speak to a few people, but the problem is the margin is so small on this industry. It's way, way lower than the turf production. By the time you pay the third party, it's pretty much all your profit's gone. Unless you can sell loads and loads of it, it's just not viable. And I didn't really want to just chuck loads of money at someone to hope that somewhere down the line it will all come good. I don't know if that's the right decision or not. Only time will tell, but it's all trial and error, isn't it? This is the best thing about working in the office. Now you don't get that out in the field. We've sold a couple £1,000 of fencing supplies out the yard this morning, which I'm really happy about. That's the first sign that the two parts of the business might work hand in hand together. As the turf sales are now starting to drop off with all the rain we've had in the last 24 hours, we're already noticing the difference on the phone today. That side of the business may now pick up and take over to see us through the winter, which was the whole idea behind it in the first place. We're starting to get hindered in the mornings by the frost now. The last few nights we've had a frost overnight, which means we can't start cutting first thing in the morning. We have to let the ground thaw out before we can do anything. Trying to cut as much turf as we can the night before and then get it covered up to try and keep the frost off of it. It's just something that we're finding quite challenging at the moment. I had a day in the office yesterday, so there wasn't really much to show you. But I did ask George to get some footage out here, but he completely forgot to get the camera out. So thanks for that, George. This afternoon we got a family meeting where all of us are going to sit down. We're going to map out the next 2 years for the company. Obviously a lot of that's going to be confidential, so I don't think I can show you too much, but if I can grab some of it I will. It's really just discussing future growth opportunities that we see at the business, what mine and George's sort of visions are going forward. Obviously at some point we'll be taking the reins. Just want to sort of map it out now while everybody's still here. So we're just going to have a chat about where we see the company going and what the potential is for the future, so that as a collective we can all be on the same page and working towards that over the next few years. We're all at completely different stages. Obviously my mum and dad are at the age now where they're going to be looking to retire soon, and me and George have still got big ambitions, and there's a lot that we want to do with the company. There's growth opportunities that we've spotted that we think we could implement. Also a lot of vertical integration that I really like the idea of, sort of the concept of bolting other things onto the business where it all works hand in hand. We can all share one another's cash flow. I think that's something that we should really try and explore. I'm heading back to the yard now. We're going to start wrapping up things operationally for the day, and then we'll jump into that meeting. This is our fertiliser spinner that my dad's brought back for the winter. It's what we use to chuck all the granule fertiliser out onto the fields. We always bring this type of stuff back for the winter just to get it under cover and stop it going rusty. Some of the equipment we leave out on the field, but all of the key stuff like the spinner, the sprayer, the mowers we'll bring back in service. Some of the tractors that no longer need to be over there, we'll bring them back and just put them in the barns for the winter. That way we can then keep on top of all the maintenance and any servicing that needs doing as well, because it's way easier to do it here than over the field. So we've had a lot of feedback from people asking how the turf harvester actually works and seeing it in more detail. Now I know when I say that, you see all these like startup channels and all people have been asking us these questions, and you think, have they though? But genuinely we actually have. People have been really interested, which has been a bit of a surprise to us.
Right, this is a shoe that goes on the line, makes it go in a straight line. This is a brush, gets rid of the leaves. This is a blade that cuts it off, 7-foot rolls each time. It comes up the conveyor belt, hits the trip, folds over the roll, makes it roll up, goes past this, comes up the conveyor belt. There's a second conveyor belt, which then makes it roll even quicker. Once it gets to the end, that conveyor belt stops, which spits it out. It lands here, 7 go on here. Every time there's 7, the computer tells it, it picks them up, puts them on the pallet, done.
So if you didn't get that in more detail, basically it all starts at the front. This is the sensor steering chute, which slides over and goes against the edge of the turf. As soon as that's engaged, the steering on the tractor will then follow wherever this goes. Moving on, you've got the cutter blade underneath, which is oscillating back and forth, cutting the turf. It's being measured on the sprocket each time that this roller goes round to measure 7-foot long rolls. As soon as it gets to 7 foot, this chop off blade will come down, chop the roll off, releasing it up the conveyor belt. This conveyor belt here will then bring the turf up to the top, where it will hit this little trip, which folds over the beginning of the roll. And as it hits this metal grid, that will then start it rolling, which will be carried on by this top conveyor belt, which is going around in the opposite direction. As it works its way up here, there's a sensor on the opposite side of this shaft on the other sprocket, and it's counting how many times the sprocket is turning round. That can all be controlled in the cab on the computer. You can tell it how many times you want it to count it going round. Once it's done the required amount of rotations, it will stop this top conveyor belt, which will spit the turf out onto this conveyor belt, where it will gradually move its way along until it's full and there's 7 on there. And the robotic arm will grab 5 of them, take them round to the back, stack them onto the pallet, and then return back home to its home position, where ready to pick up the next 5. And again, all of that is automated, so the driver is just in the cab making sure that nothing's going wrong. So leave a comment So leave a comment whose explanation. So leave a comment whose explanation. Yeah. So leave a comment whose So leave a comment whose explanation. So it's getting to that time of year again where everybody starts to have their Christmas dues. If you work in an office, you have a nice luxury Christmas dinner and evening out. I don't know how lucky you've got it. I'm just about to go to our Christmas do now. And this is genuine, I'm not even mucking around, this is something that we do every year. And our Christmas do consists of George stopping off at the burger van to get a big breakfast baguette, and the 3 of us stop work for about half hour and we just sit in the truck and eat a breakfast baguette. And that's our Christmas do. I'm eating it too quick again.
Probably.
How's your Christmas dinner, brother, right?
No, rubbish, because I started eating that and then ketchup on
They're saying they don't know how lucky they got it in the offices, do they? This is as good as it gets out here.
Yep.
We've not told Mum that we do this though, so we'll have to try and avoid her watching this episode.
I missed out this year because Dad had already eaten half of mine before I realised I had the ketchup one.
You've got to watch him, he does that.
My lorry, the leg that comes out, I snapped it the other day, so I now can't extend this leg out. So we're just getting that fixed. What do we reckon then? Are we going to be able to fix this? I guess we'll take that as a yes. Is it all done? Thanks, I guess. The man that says no words has fixed me. We're good to go Monday morning. Bosh.
So tell us what you're doing then, Norm.
Well, we're attempting to repair a hydraulic fitting, which is not available in this country, so wish me luck.
What are you doing in there?
What are you doing?
Put the windows back in.
Right. I'm going to give you another office update. The last one was a bit of a joke, but this is deadly serious now. We're really happy with how it's turned out. We spent the last couple of weeks refurbing it. So come on in. We've now got a screen and desks. 2 of them. How good is that? Are we businessmen? I think we might be businessmen. Imagine this, picture the scene. Oh no, I was supposed to give them out earlier to a customer. Let's see if we can get rid of another one. Anybody wants another hat, comment hat, I'll send it out to you. One of 15 in the world. You should charge a fortune for them, really. Anyway, you'll be here, no, I'll be here. Like, yeah, buy low, buy low, buy low. And then you'll be over here with this one. Sell high, sell high, sell high. How good is that? I mean, if we need something to sell, that's the downfall. But no, seriously, we do need to sort our stock issue out because we're going to be known as the worst builders merchants in the world at this rate. We'll show you a little tour around the new yard, or extension to the yard that we put at the top. It's looking a little bit sparse at the minute of landscaping supplies, so we need to do something about that very soon. 3 spare rolls of turf here. Anybody wants some rolls of turf, you can have them if you're in the Southampton area, or you can pick them up. We're starting to feel like Oprah Winfrey on this channel. You get a free hat, you get a free hat, you win a roll of turf. Got some packs of fence posts here. Don't know why we bought them, don't need them. My dad apparently wanted them for a job he had, but they're the wrong size. It's probably going to take us a couple of years to sell them now. But I might put them up the top here just to fence off the new yard. We'll then put some hedging round, that might look quite nice. So yeah, this is the new yard that we've put in, and we put this new hard standing down, which will be the landscaping yard eventually once we grow into it. At the minute, we're just using it to park some machinery and some equipment that we've bought back for the winter. We wanted to make sure when we've done it, we had plenty of room. There's nothing worse than doing it too small and then you've got no room to grow into it, and then a year down the line, we're having to put in for planning and extend again. So yeah, we've got plenty of space to grow into. Still not completely finished. We're still working on it. Obviously, you can see around the outside, we need to get some, we need to spread this soil, we need to get fence and some hedging put around to screen it off. So that will be done in the spring now. That's just got too wet to move that muck. And in the bigger plans as well, we're going to put in for planning permission to put another barn up here, probably along the side there. I think we're going to go for, spoke to the architect beginning of the week, we're going to go for 5 bays on this one. So similar to one in our front yard, but with an extra bay on it. That will be, we're going to try and have a proper workshop on one end of it so that we can back the tractors, equipment, the lorry in, so we've got a proper space to work on them, do some repairs, and then the other bays will be for storage. And don't know, we got some ideas that we potentially might do. That's another week done. Hope you enjoyed episode 6 of Building a Family Business. We're gonna have a family Chinese. Hope you've all had a great week. See you on the next one.